StraighTAllDay.com.
Let's get into CRMs. What are they? Why do they exist? How do they work? And when and where or how would you actually use them? Now, as entrepreneurs, as you build your business, it is inevitable that you will be engaging with, talking to, making offers to, selling and serving more and more people. Or at least I would hope so. I think you are hoping so as well. And even better than hoping, I hope you are strategizing to do so. Now, let's always remember that the business world is highly driven by relationships, and those relationships are supplemented by the value and the substance that you provide to those relationships. With that in mind, having the right positive relationships with the right people, this is what you need to understand, is more important than you actually being good, providing value, or being a person of substance. I'm not telling you don't be good, don't provide value, don't be a person of substance, but positive relationships can make up for what you lack in goodness, value, or substance. And you look around in life, you'll see plenty of examples of this. And this is just the truth of the game. Now, with this understanding in place, you need to make sure that you are managing the upkeep of those relationships, whether it's a firmly established relationship, whether it's one in the process of being built, or it's a future desired connection, such as someone you want to have a relationship with, but right now they have no idea who the hell you are. Your client relationship management system, this is what CRM stands for, client relationship management, and that word client is an important one. This, you could also substitute customer. This will help you in doing this. So today I'm going to explain to you what, why, and how, the what's, whys, and hows of the CRM system. As any of you working in any type of client-focused business, you're going to need one of these. Okay, whether you're performing any form of service to a person or to an organization, you're going to need a CRM. This is not optional. You need it. Let's talk about it. Point number one. Today's topic, once again, is all about CRMs. What, why, when, and how. Number one. First thing you need to understand when it comes to CRM is that a CRM is any software that allows you to manage the context, the relationships, the communications that you have with other people. This can be such as the emails that have been sent, text messages that have been read and replied to, phone calls, etc. And it puts everything in one place in an organized and structured way. That's what a CRM is. And you can customize these things, by the way, any way that you want, so that you can look into your CRM and you know the status of every relationship. You know how every conversation has gone. You know what's supposed to be happening next, who's responsible for what. And this allows you to stay on top of all your communications. If I had to explain the CRM in one run-on sentence, it would be the one that I just gave you. It allows you to manage the relationships and the communication. So you know what got said last, who said what, who sent what attachments were there, what's supposed to happen next, what text messages got replied to, what text messages didn't get responded to, what's somebody's address, what's their phone number, what's their email address, who else is on your team, do they have an assistant. All the things you need to know about every relationship you have in business can all be put into a CRM, completely and fully organized and completely and fully customized. And again, there are hundreds of different platforms that offer CRM software. All right, CRM is just a way of doing things. The same CRM is a version of managing customers the same way that a Honda or a Toyota or a Mercedes-Benz are different forms of automobiles. So CRM is not one type of software, it's not a company. CRM is just the name of the system, the same way that there are different types of soccer balls, there are different types of gym sneakers. So for everybody to understand it. A CRM, again, is just the name of the entity. So you may have heard of many of the most popular CRM platforms, or platforms that are CRM based, meaning their main reason for existing is because they came out into the CRM game, and this is what they specialize in. There are also many companies who did not come into the business as a CRM, but they have added CRM-like capabilities to their software, and I'll give you some examples. So some of the most popular ones that you probably have heard of are Salesforce. Salesforce is a CRM platform. It's a way of managing your sales team. Those are the people in the organization who are selling, so you can see what everybody is doing and how they're doing. You can also see who they're talking to, how those conversations went, and what's supposed to happen next. That's a platform like Salesforce. There's another called HubSpot that many of you are familiar with, does similar things. Nutshell is a CRM. There's Microsoft, which has a thing called, now they have Microsoft Teams. They have all types of CRM softwares. They have a lot of things that they've added. Microsoft is pretty much anything software based. Microsoft gets involved in it some way or another. Even companies like Google, they have their own version of a CRM these days. Even a company like ClickFunnels, where I host most of my sales funnels, at least for now. ClickFunnels has been making some mistakes lately, so that is all pending as long as they fix the problems they've been making. But even ClickFunnels has CRM capabilities within their software. When it comes to which one to use, you can use whichever one you like because they all do the same thing, as I've explained. It's a matter of what you're most comfortable with. Of course, you have cost factors. How many different moving pieces and bells and whistles do you want or need in your CRMs? All of those can factor into what decision you make as to which one you use. Now, if you work in a corporation, for example, your company, I'm 99% sure, probably already provides you with a CRM. All you do is log in with your company email address and you'll have access to it. And you can ask if you're not sure, you can ask the IT help desk at your company. If you work at a company, do we have CRM software? If so, what is it? How do I get access to it, etc. If you're working independently, I use Nutshell. So that's nutshell.com. That's a CRM software that I personally use. I've been using that one since I got into business full time. I've been using Nutshell. There are others that are more robust than Nutshell, that do things that Nutshell does not do and have more bells and whistles than Nutshell. For now, I'm good with using Nutshell, but that all, as I always say, could change. By the time you hear this, I may have changed my mind about Nutshell, but as of this recording, I'm using Nutshell. And again, there are others that can do things that Nutshell doesn't do. So something like HubSpot can probably do a lot of stuff that my current CRM doesn't do. I am okay with that because there's certain things that I don't need a CRM to do. So the one I'm using does the things that I needed to do given my situation. So to keep it simple for everyone, if you are not highly literate when it comes to internet use, meaning you're not very deft just when it comes to just internet, period. I'm very internet savvy. I would suggest, if you are not highly savvy, use a very simple CRM that doesn't have too many buttons, too many levers, so as not to confuse you or to overwhelm yourself with all the different things that the CRM can do. Because at that point, you wouldn't even use it for what you signed up for because you get overwhelmed by all the things it can do. The trap that a lot of entrepreneurs fall into is this very thing, is getting into things that offer more than what you actually need, and then you get lost in the sauce of all the stuff it can do, and you forget about the reason that you signed up in the first place for. What do I actually need this for? Okay, so a CRM is just a thing. Every company, many software companies, have their own version of a CRM. Okay, same way as I said, sneakers are a thing, but you can get your sneakers from Nike, Reebok, Adidas, etc., etc. Okay, so everybody understands what a CRM is and what it does. Okay, everybody got that? Good. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is CRMs. We are talking everything CRMs: who, what, when, where, why, and how. Number 2, the point of having a CRM is to organize your communication. Or we could just say organize your relationship. But relationships and communications are synonymous, because especially those of you who are in business, that's what I'm talking to here today and every day on the show. If you have a relationship but there is no communication, then you may want to double check whether or not there's still a relationship there. Any of you can think of a person who you used to have a relationship with, but you don't anymore? What's the reason you don't have a relationship with that person anymore? It's only one reason: because you stopped communicating with that person, or they stopped communicating with you, or you both decided to stop communicating with each other for whatever reason. As soon as the communication ends, the relationship goes away, or it starts to fade away. So the purpose of a CRM is to manage communication, and the better you do at managing that communication, the better you're able to maintain the relationship. Now, not every relationship is the same. There are some relationships where you talk to the person every single day, like maybe your kids, or if they're young, let's say, or your spouse. You talk to them almost every single day. There are other relationships, such as business related, where you might only talk to a person every 6 months, and the relationship's great because that's the expectation between the two of you. The whole purpose of the CRM is to maintain communications at the level through which it matters for that relationship. And they're different for each type of relationship. So if you're running a service-based business, and that's a lot of people who I work with are running service-based businesses, or at least some of your business is based in service. One thing is that you're going to have multiple points of contact and communication with your customers and clients. What does that mean? Multiple points of contact means When you're running a service-based business, there may be an initial conversation in which the agreement is made and your customer / client decides, okay, I'm going to buy your product or service and I'm going to get into doing whatever it is you're offering. I'm going to hire you for coaching or training or bring your team in to consult with our business, etc., whatever it is. That's one point of contact. Then there's another point of contact where your assistant may need to talk to their assistant. That's another point of contact. There's another one where you're sending over a contract. There's a third point of contact. There's another one where you're scheduling the next meeting. That's a fourth point of contact. Then there's the actual meeting. It's fifth point of contact, and so forth and so on. And let's say you're working with this other company for a year and a half. There's going to be a lot of points of contact. And there's going to be a ton of communication, maybe between a whole lot of different people besides just yourself and whoever the main person is in that other organization. Or who's going to keep track of all those communications? Well, it shouldn't be you, because how the hell are you going to do that? Your memory is not that deep. And imagine if you had 10 of these relationships. Can you remember every single point of communication between you and that other person? Probably not. Would you want to be going through messy email chains trying to figure out who said what and when and who sent what to who? You see how messy this can get very quickly? This is the problem that a CRM solves. Because with all those multiple points of contact, all the different people, different contexts involved. Like if you have people on your team, they have people on their team. Now we got to remember who said what to whom and who should get what. And some people didn't get things. I've been in situations where something got sent to one person on the other side of a communication and they received everything they were supposed to receive. But then the other person on the other side there, they didn't get the email. They weren't copied on it. So now they're reaching out and saying, hey, you never sent this. And we're like, well, it got sent to that person, but it didn't get sent to that person and they didn't send it. And this is what the CRM solves. It solves this whole problem, making sure everybody gets what they're supposed to get and everyone has access to what they need to have access to based on the way communication is set up. So when you have multiple points of contact, you need to keep track of conversations. What happened, who said or did what, and or what is supposed to happen next. Actually, always what's supposed to happen next. Because if you let the communication chain die, then that might be the end of your business opportunity. Do not leave this to chance, okay? You don't want to leave this to chance. One way of leaving it to chance is thinking that you will remember who you're supposed to reach out to and talk to. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you listening to this, your memory is not that good. Nobody's memory is that good. Even if you teach memory, all right, your memory ain't that good to remember everything that you're supposed to do. A wise businessman told me many years ago, he said, Dre, I trust a short pencil to a long memory every day of the week. And that's a very good way of looking at things. A short pencil means writing something down. That's what it means. I don't mean manually writing it down. Write it down on your computer. CRM is the software. Don't trust your long-term memory. And you need to maintain these relationships. And the CRM, again, the very purpose of it is to relationship manage. Okay? It does require you to enter and track what you have done, who you talk to, what got sent, what's supposed to happen next, when it's supposed to happen. That's what the CRM does. So it can track things. One good thing about CRMs is that it often can be, almost every CRM can connect with your email server. So let's say you use Gmail or your company email or Outlook or whatever it is that you have. You can connect your CRM to that, and every email that gets sent and received can be logged inside of your CRM. So it's not like every time you send an email, you got to go to your CRM and double entry that you sent an email about this and that. It automatically logs all those things. Some of them can log also phone conversations and phone communication, depending on the way it's set up, and communication on other platforms. The whole point is it tells you what's supposed to happen next. So the CRM does this work as a personal assistant of sorts. It's not human, but almost every CRM now has some AI feature baked in. Almost all of them have this now. And it tells you what your next steps are so you don't have to remember them. In other words, if I'm supposed to call Mike 3 weeks from today, Tuesday at 10 o'clock, the CRM will tell me when I log into my CRM 3 weeks from today, Tuesday at 8 o'clock, hey, at 10 o'clock, you're supposed to be reaching out to Mike. Or, hey, today is the day when you're supposed to be following up with those guys from 6 months ago who said, can you follow up with us in 6 months? See, I would have forgot about that over 6 months. But because I put it in my CRM, now the CRM tells me, hey, today is the day you're supposed to follow up with those guys from 6 months ago. And I already know what I'm supposed to say because the CRM reminds me of what the last conversation was, so I can just pick up on that thread and say, hey guys, from 6 months ago, remember we talked about this, this, and this. Well, I'm reaching back out because you asked me to reach back out, and here we are 6 months later, I'm reaching back out. That's what a CRM does for you. It manages and remembers things for you so that you don't have to manage and remember them for yourself, because it's impossible for you to remember everything in your head, especially once you start dealing with multiple different individuals who are on different tracks and you're having different conversations for different reasons because they all have different needs. and you don't want to be doing something silly, such as, and I know some of you do this, and I'm going to call you out on it right now, your Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets that you are using as a CRM, get rid of them. Actually, let me back up before you get rid of them. Copy everything out of them into your CRM software, which you are signing up for while you're listening to me right now, and then get rid of them. Get rid of those spreadsheets and Excel sheets. You do not want to manage your relationships through Google Excel or through some Google Sheets documents. The reason why you don't do that is because those can get very messy very quickly. Let's say I have a spreadsheet and I want to manage everything through a spreadsheet because I'm too lazy, or I don't want to sign up for a CRM because I want to pay for the software. CRM software is relatively cheap. My CRM that I'm using right now, nutshell, based on the minimum stuff that I need for it, I think I pay, what is it that I'm paying? I forgot what the number is. It's like $20 a month, something like that. And I pay for the whole year up front. So it's like $200 or something for the whole year for the CRM. But there are others that are more robust. There are some that are $50 a year, some are $50 a month rather. There are some that are much more robust depending on what you need, how much you want to use it. And again, depending on how internet savvy you are, don't sign up for something that's more savvy than your actual internet skills, because you'll get overwhelmed and you'll end up not using it even though you're paying for it. Great for the company, terrible for you. Now, the company meaning that the company that sold it to you. So Google Excel, or not Google Excel, Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. If I want to manage everything in a Google Sheet, okay, I can put everybody's name and phone number and email address. The issue is once we start communicating, and I have to jot down what happened in the communication. I'm going to put that inside of a sheet, and then the next communication and the next cell over, and next communication and next communication, next one, and what they have an assistant, and they jump in the conversation. See how messy that can get really, really quickly? If you don't know, take my word for it, or you can go find out the hard way, but don't do this. All right, the CRM is designed specifically to do exactly what I'm explaining to you here, and do it a lot more cleanly than a sheet or Excel document can do. Do not go down the rabbit hole of trying to do this all through a spreadsheet. It's a very bad idea. You will be really angry at yourself for not listening to me if you make this mistake. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is we're talking all about CRMs, what they do, how they work, why they work. Number 3, most important thing any human being can do when dealing with other humans, whether you're in business or not, selling things or not, is to be consistent and thorough in your follow-up communication. Consistent and thorough in your follow-up communication, meaning the communication after the communication. Who's supposed to do what next? Hey, call me in a month. Hey, I'm going to reach out to you on your birthday. Hey, I'm going to remember to remind you of this project when it's time for us to start the project 4 months from now. That's the follow-up communication. When you are precise and consistent in your follow-up communication, you are unconsciously communicating your professionalism to the people that you work with. And people do notice that, even though most of the time they won't point it out. Most people are not going to point out, damn, you're doing a very good job of following up and being thorough and doing all the things that you said you would do. Every once in a while, somebody might point it out to you. Most of the time they won't, but they will respect it, sometimes unconsciously, just because you did it and you actually followed through and did what they asked you to do or what you said you were going to do. And the reason why it matters so much is because most people don't do it. Most people just don't follow through. I can't tell you how many times I've reached out to, because one thing I've mentioned to you all is that I do a lot of media appearances. I've appeared on a lot of other people's platforms, such as podcasts, YouTube shows, stages, etc. And a lot of times, of all the places I've appeared, I would say over the last 10 years, I've appeared on probably anywhere from 300 to 500 different platforms, probably closer to 500 different platforms. Out of that 500, I'd say about 20% of them, maybe about 100 out of those 500, when initial reach out was made, whether it was me doing it myself or my executive assistant doing it on my behalf, they responded by saying, there is interest, but not right now. Follow up with us in 6 months. Follow up with us in 3 months. Or our schedule is booked. Can you reach us at the beginning of next year? And because the follow-up occurred, I was able to get myself booked on their platform. But had I not followed up, they wouldn't have followed up with me. Because oftentimes I've reached out to platforms who have more people trying to get on their platform than they had space for, meaning they didn't need me as much as I needed them. And because I followed up, I was able to get the position. But those who forgot to follow up, well, they just missed an opportunity. And opportunities change, by the way. Now, the opportunity you passed on in April might not be the same opportunity if you finally remember to follow up in October. All right, so remember that. The follow-up matters a lot. And again, it's professionalism, folks. Remember that most human beings operate on what we call tape delay. Those of you who don't know what that is, it's a metaphor. That means most people think about things that they need to do. Then they tell themselves that they need to do it or that they're going to do it. Then they tell themselves that they'll get to it later. That's tape delay. All right, I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm calling it tape delay because back in the day, in the sports world, for example, basketball games used to come on tape delay, meaning the game would start at 8 o'clock and it would be over at 11 o'clock, but it wouldn't come on TV till 11 o'clock. That's when you could actually see the game. The game was filmed or recorded, and then it came on later after the game was already over. Why? Because the demand for the game being shown in live action was not as high as it is, let's say, these days when live games, actual basketball games come on when they're actually happening. You're watching it live as it occurs. Whereas back in the day, it would be on tape delay. Most human beings still operate on tape delay. They do things later. Now, why does that matter? Because you're probably just as guilty of it as everybody else is. The CRM will help you to remind yourself and those who you work with or who work for you of the things that you told yourself you would get to later, but you didn't do it yet. The CRM will remind you, hey, you're supposed to do that. See, most of the things we tell ourselves we'll get to later, we never get to because we forget about it later. Not because we don't want to, we just forget. The CRM won't allow you to forget because every time you have an idea, something you're going to do in the future, you note it in the CRM. CRM is not advanced enough yet to read your mind, but I say in the next 50 years, we'll have software that will read our minds for us. But until then, you got to tell the CRM and it will remind you what you're supposed to say. So, for example, following up with a recent prospect who may eventually become a client. Getting an invoice paid by a client who's yet to push a button or send paperwork to the finance department. Reminding a client that you need some documents or that they're supposed to get something finished and send it back to you so you can help them with the next step in your business. Remember that I told you that people are slow of thinking, people are slow of decision, and people are slow to take action. The CRM reminds you of these things and or other things that you or others may be slow to get to. So when used properly, a CRM becomes an inanimate personal assistant, telling you exactly what your plan and schedule is for the day because the CRM can also manage a calendar. Okay, you can connect your calendar to your CRM to your calendar. I would venture to guess that within the next 3 to 7 years, CRM systems combined with artificial intelligence will operate more like real virtual assistants. The way we have human virtual assistants now, the next 3 to 7 years, a lot of human virtual assistants will be replaced with CRM level artificial intelligence assistants with more human-like capabilities, i.e. making phone calls on your behalf, writing and responding to emails on your behalf without your input, sending text messages on your behalf, again, without you having to tell it what to say. That's coming within the next 3 to 7 years. Now, those of you who understand how artificial intelligence works, I'll give you the shorthand. You have to program it. You have to tell it what to do. Same way you would train an assistant, same way you train your dog, same way you train your kids. You have to tell it how you want it to do things. Those of you who are already documenting how you want things done the right way, you already have systems in place. This will help you 10x your productivity. And those of you who are not doing that, you should start learning how to do it now because this is what the future is going to look like. I'm predicting it right now. If you hire a human being today, you had to train them. What job do you want done? And how do you want them to do it? That's the same thing you're going to do with a CRM when it has more AI, human-like capabilities. It's not going to just automatically do everything for you without you thinking. Okay, you still have to set it up. And this will become easier in the future, but it still will be a requirement of the user. That would be you, to provide proper instruction and proper training. But this is what CRMs do now. It can still do a whole lot for you right now without the AI, human-like capabilities. But those capabilities, again, they're coming and they're coming quickly. Let's recap today's class, which is all about CRMs. What, how, when, where, and why of the CRM. First of all, what does the CRM stand for? Customer relationship management. Customer relationship management or client relationship management. Definition of a client is someone who is under the care of you. So your client is a person who is trusting you to care for them on some level. Usually that means there's a relationship, which means there's multiple points of contact. The CRM allows you to manage those points of contact and organize those points of contact so you remember what's happening, when, and where. Number 2, the point of a CRM is to keep your communications organized. Many of you get unorganized in your communications because you don't have a system for organizing them. The CRM is the system. Okay, it is a system for organizing your communications. Your job is to be disciplined enough to keep using the CRM system to keep your relationships organized so you don't forget what was supposed to happen or what already happened. Number 3, the most important thing any human being can do when dealing with other humans, whether in business or not, is to be consistent and thorough in your communication, your follow-ups, your doing what you said you were going to do. You're making sure you remind somebody of something they're supposed to do. Because remember, most human beings are slow. Most people do not remember things. Most people don't make decisions quickly, nor do they act on those decisions quickly. So you, using a CRM, you will appear superhuman compared to most other humans simply because most people don't do any follow-up. Most people forget the things that they were supposed to do. And you, being the opposite of that, will win by a simple law of contrast. So all that said, everybody, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's where you can work with me directly. Have me as your direct coach so I can help you get your systems set up when it comes to your communication, putting your message out there, following up with the people you need to follow up with, and getting things done, because half the things you want to get done probably won't get done on the first shot simply because other people are slow. Sometimes you are slow. Sometimes there's a delay involved for whatever reason. That's all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all